Inner peace is a concept that many people chase, but few truly understand. Most assume that peace comes from external circumstances, such as wealth, relationships, or comfort. Ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus, however, taught that true inner peace is cultivated from within. It is not dependent on what happens in the world, but on how we respond to it. His teachings, distilled into 3 fundamental rules, provide a framework for living with clarity, serenity, and resilience, even in the most chaotic situations. The first rule of Epictetus is to focus only on what is within your control. He believed that the root of human suffering is attempting to control things that are inherently uncontrollable. Events, other people, natural disasters, or societal pressures are beyond our power. Yet, the mind has a tendency to fixate on these uncontrollable factors, creating stress, anxiety, and frustration. By focusing only on thoughts, actions, and choices that lie within personal control, individuals reduce unnecessary mental turmoil and cultivate clarity. Inner peace is achieved when the mind accepts that external outcomes are not the source of happiness or stability. This principle challenges the modern habit of overthinking, worrying, and attempting to manipulate situations that are outside influence. Epictetus teaches that energy should be directed at personal responses, decisions, and actions. For instance, one cannot control the behavior of colleagues, family members, or strangers, but one can control attitude, patience, and communication. By recognizing this distinction, a person becomes resilient to disappointment and less prone to emotional swings. This shift from attempting to control the uncontrollable to mastering oneself is the foundation of mental clarity and emotional stability. The second rule is to train the mind to accept what happens as necessary. Epictetus emphasized that the universe operates according to natural laws, and events unfold in ways that are often beyond comprehension. Resisting reality or wishing events were different leads to internal conflict. Mental suffering arises not from the events themselves, but from judgment, resistance, or attachment to outcomes. Accepting events as necessary, whether favorable or challenging, allows the mind to remain calm, rational, and focused on constructive action. Stoic acceptance does not mean passivity. It is active engagement with reality without emotional overreaction. This principle encourages a perspective where challenges, failures, and hardships are not catastrophes, but opportunities for growth. For example, encountering criticism, setbacks, or obstacles is inevitable in life. Epictetus taught that these occurrences are neither good nor bad in themselves. They are events to which one applies judgment. By accepting circumstances without excessive resistance, the mind conserves energy, avoids unnecessary stress, and maintains clarity. Acceptance aligns thought and action with reality, creating a stable foundation for inner peace. The third rule is to distinguish between desire and judgment. Humans often suffer because they desire outcomes to match personal preferences and attach judgment to events, labeling them as good or bad. Epictetus argued that suffering comes from placing value on external circumstances rather than cultivating virtuous judgment. Desire for specific results, combined with the belief that they must occur for happiness, creates dependency on factors outside control. By distinguishing between what one desires and how one interprets events, the mind remains free, calm, and resilient. Inner peace arises when judgment is rooted in reason and acceptance rather than attachment and preference. This principle teaches that emotional turmoil is often self-created. When a person desires approval, success, or comfort and ties it to happiness, they become vulnerable to disappointment. By contrast, focusing on rational judgment and evaluating situations objectively reduces emotional reactivity. For instance, losing a job or facing criticism can be stressful only if the mind interprets the event as catastrophic. Epictetus would advise reframing the event as a natural occurrence and focusing on how to respond effectively. Mastering judgment, not controlling external events, is the key to enduring serenity. Applying these 3 rules together forms a comprehensive framework for inner peace. First, by focusing on what is controllable, attention is concentrated on personal power and agency. Second, by accepting events as necessary, the mind reduces resistance and conserves energy. Third, by distinguishing distinguishing between desire and judgment. The mind remains objective, rational, and resilient. This combination strengthens mental clarity, reduces emotional turbulence, and fosters a deep sense of stability, even amid uncertainty. One practical method to internalize these rules is to engage in daily reflection and journaling. Epictetus emphasized self-examination as a tool for growth. Each day, individuals can reflect on situations where they attempted to control the uncontrollable, resisted reality, or allowed desires to dictate judgment. Writing down responses, evaluating alternative approaches, and committing to better alignment with Stoic principles strengthens the mind over time. Regular reflection transforms abstract philosophy into practical, actionable habits that cultivate inner calm. Another practice inspired by Epictetus is preparing the mind for challenges before they occur, a concept known as negative visualization. By imagining potential setbacks, failures, or inconveniences, individuals become mentally equipped to face adversity without surprise or panic. Anticipating challenges fosters acceptance, reduces emotional shock, and reinforces focus on personal response rather than external events. This technique builds resilience, allowing one to navigate life with steady composure and unwavering clarity. Mindfulness is also aligned with these rules. Observing thoughts, emotions, and reactions without judgment mirrors Stoic self-awareness. Mindfulness allows the recognition of desires, judgments, and attachments, providing the space to apply the three rules consciously. By noticing impulses to control the uncontrollable, resist reality, or attach undue judgment to events, a person can respond deliberately rather than react impulsively. This conscious practice reinforces inner peace, self-mastery, and clarity of thought. Epictetus also teaches the importance of virtue and character as the true source of stability. External wealth, recognition, or comfort are transient and unreliable, yet internal virtue, rational judgment, and integrity provide lasting security. Inner peace is inseparable from ethical living, disciplined thought, and mastery over impulses. Aligning behavior with principles of honesty, courage, and wisdom strengthens resilience against adversity and maintains mental equilibrium in all circumstances. The cultivation of virtue is both the means and the outcome of mental serenity. Social interactions are another area where the three rules apply. Conflicts, misunderstandings, and disagreements are inevitable. Most suffering in relationships arises from attempts to control others, resistance to their behavior, or attaching judgment to outcomes. By applying Epictetus principles, individuals focus on their own responses, accept the other person as they are, and evaluate interactions with rational judgment rather than emotional reaction. This approach fosters healthier relationships, reduces unnecessary conflict, and preserves peace of mind. Health and daily habits also contribute to inner peace. Maintaining physical well-being, sleep, and balanced nutrition supports mental clarity and emotional regulation. Epictetus understood that the body and mind are interconnected, and mental discipline is easier when physical needs are met. By combining Stoic practice with responsible care for the body, individuals reinforce their ability to respond rationally, manage stress, and maintain equilibrium. Inner peace is holistic, encompassing both mental and physical discipline. Another aspect of practicing Epictetus rules is embracing impermanence and uncertainty. Life is inherently unpredictable, and suffering often stems from attachment to stability, control, or permanence. Accepting the transient nature of events, circumstances, and outcomes aligns the mind with reality and reduces resistance. By focusing on what can be controlled, accepting what happens, and applying rational judgment, the mind remains steady despite the inherent uncertainty of life. This perspective transforms anxiety and fear into serenity and clarity. Finally, practicing gratitude complements the three rules. By appreciating what is present, within control, and aligned with virtue, individuals cultivate a mindset that focuses on abundance rather than scarcity. Gratitude reinforces acceptance, reduces unnecessary desire, and strengthens rational judgment. Recognizing the value of experience, relationships, and personal effort fosters contentment and mental stability. Inner peace is not about the absence of difficulty, but the mastery of perception, response, and attitude. Following these rules allows individuals to navigate life with calmness, purpose, and rationality. Challenges, setbacks, and adversity are inevitable, yet they no longer dictate emotional states or disturb inner stability. Inner peace is achieved not by controlling the world, but by mastering the mind, aligning actions with virtue, and responding to reality with clarity and composure. Epictetus's wisdom remains as relevant today as it was centuries ago, offering a practical roadmap for a life of serenity, resilience, and enduring mental equilibrium.